It's already going.
Okay, my bad, my bad.
What is up, and
I
welcome
ask after the show.
to another episode of the All Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. Been a while, yes, but a little late for an official season preview. But since we about almost 25 games in, but just to talk about the expectations the rest of the way, talk about this in-season tournament just wrapped up, and a few other topics: players returning, players injured. But the All Basketball Podcast still going on. We're here, got Frank, James, and Parrish um, here with me to talk about what's going on in the association. And guys, the in-season tournament just wrapped up. What was everybody's thoughts? Well, what are your thoughts on it? How it went? What you like, dislike, what need to change?
For me, it actually kept it more entertaining for the start of the season. I always thought that you know, without the in-season tournament, I felt that the NBA's first 25 to 30 games, well, at least up until Christmas Day, were kind of overlooked and overshadowed by what's going on in the NFL races, and then also with college football and the conference championships and all that stuff amping up. I actually think that this actually puts a little bit more intrigue into the game at the start of the season, and I think it helps with the viewership from that perspective as well. Because really, truth be told, I mean, after the first 2 weeks of the season, after you see how everybody kind of plays together after trades and everybody rookies coming in and all that, that the enthusiasm died down up until Christmas Day. So I think it was good for for this season. I think it was good for the league for viewership. And I do like the fact that they are not actually trying to reinvent the wheel with their scheduling. All of this kind of plays into the schedule. So that's my take on it.
Go ahead, James. Frank muted.
Well, I wasn't too excited about it. I mean, I'm okay with it. I think I kind of knew what was going to happen, sort of say. I kind of figured the Lakers would win. The only way it'll work is if LeBron James is in Vegas and they win, and then they can sell it going forward. So I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work, from that standpoint. Maybe other players will want to win. Now, the great players, you got to win the in-season tournament because LeBron did it. You know what I'm saying? So from that aspect, I think it's a success. But it's not something that I was too much caught into. And I don't think a lot of the teams, because a lot of the teams don't really catch their rhythm until after 20 games. You look at a team like the Clippers, who made the trade for James Harden early. And when they first got James Harden, they were struggling. They lost the first 5-6 games. Then Ty Lue figured out the rotation, and the Clippers have been playing pretty well lately, and now they back in good standing. So it's good for teams like the Pacers, and that's what I like. It's good for a young team who's really got some sort of chemistry coming in early. They play hard, and they got an opportunity to get a trophy and build some confidence early. So, I think it's a positive thing for the league.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was, I think the first thing it was, the reason for, was to create buzz. I think during the week, some people were like, why? I mean, you got NFL going on. Nobody's really worried about basketball once it gets after that, those opening nights, that opening week. But TV deals are coming up, so I mean TNT and ESPN still gonna be locked in, but now you got Apple, Amazon, whoever else, I don't know, Fubo. They want some of that money from ratings and all that. And
Now they're jockeying for position right now.
Yeah, and the NBA's wanted to have something to present. Now I know Commissioner Silver was kind of talking about this, doing this soccer model thing for a while. So I thought it was a success. I didn't really have an issue with it. I understand why they did it on both ends, from a financial and just to catch your attention, give it some buzz, give the NBA a little more buzz this time of season. So I understand as far as both aspects of that. Some of the courts were cool. I just think the main thing they need the changes. The biggest changes I think need to be made is something with the point differential. I don't think guys should be out there trying to run up the score. Then somebody gets hurt. Then you got controversial issues of, well, the game would be over and they'd be like, well, we need to score more points. So
right, yeah, because you got to because
I don't want to see them run up the score.
But the thing about it is like the Sacramento Kings had the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors played, and the Warriors basically had to win the game and win by like 12 or 15 or something like that.
Right.
And for them to get in.
Exactly.
And I agree with Maurice on this. Hey, let's just play straight up. You know what I mean?
But it's a tournament. That's the allure of a different type of situation that the NBA is presenting. So now it's like, not only you need to win, can you beat this team by 12? Like, I think it's kind of exciting, you know. I think it's a challenge, you know.
Well, that's fine when you say 12 points, but I'm talking about when somebody's up by 20, 30 points and they still got. My thing is just still having starters in, because maybe your bench can't sustain the lead you need them to, and then somebody get hurt, then we got an issue. I mean, if they don't change, I'm not that against it. I'm more so prefer them to maybe move it around every once in a while to other areas, I think that'll create some more buzz, and maybe just put it at, like, when it starts, let all those games be in-season tournament games. Like, this is that section of the season, it's tournament time, and then go back to your even though they would tell you, okay, Tuesday and Fridays on ESPN, TNT.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much stayed within the schedule, though. I mean, now once the tournament, you know, once they found out who was going to be in, they kind of altered the schedules a little bit, but they made it all fit, you know. Everybody's still playing everybody how many times they need to play everybody, so it works. But I feel you, though, it wouldn't be bad to have to start the season off with a tournament, like almost like a Maui Invitational type situation. But I feel like, you know, for LeBron James, because he didn't go to college, this was like his Final Four. This was like his, you know, he got it done, you know, type of situation. So it was a good story.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I didn't see all the games, but they said it seemed like the ratings were up for the tournament games, and you can tell the competition level went up because people knew money was on the line. And if you don't need a 500,000, maybe somebody 12th man or practice player, they can use it.
Hey, 500,000.
Right. Hey, man, that guy who signed a deal for 10 days and ends up, you know what I'm saying, on one of those winning teams. Hey, man, that's what we call a ghetto goal right there, baby.
I think for me, can you guys hear me okay? I'm having some connectivity issues. Can y'all hear me all right?
You can hear you, it's popping,
you're a little staticky, but yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think, I pretty much agree with everything everybody else said. I love the overall concept of it. Just because if you can do anything to try to incentivize making regular season games more important, I'm with it. Because I'm very disappointed by what I've seen the last 10 to 15 years in the NBA, just the whole culture of it, how the culture has shifted to me in a negative way. Now, business-wise, I think it's, you know, great for all the players. That's awesome. But culturally, I think it's, heading in the wrong direction. So I think this is a good way to kind of, try to get things back on track. I agree with Maurice. I thought, the courts, I thought the rollout plan for it was done pretty well. I thought the rollout of the courts are pretty cool. They can, it's more engaging and whatnot. It's kind of adding a little bit more excitement to it. Now, to James's point, I think I agree with him on, that in order for this to really work, especially considering this is the pilot of it, you want somebody like LeBron to win, the Lakers to win. Ideally, that's what they wanted anyway. I'm also thinking that the reason why they wanted to do this in Vegas, I mean, not only because, there's talks about trying to get a team out there. What I think is going to happen is I think they're trying to set LeBron up. Obviously, he wants to own a team in Vegas. What I think was going to happen eventually is the Kings, they're going to move the Kings from Sacramento. They're going to go to Vegas and make perfect sense. LeBron James' nickname is the King. It makes perfect sense. It's named after him. I think that's what's going to eventually happen. I think the NBA, and to James's point, I think the NBA is setting this up to make that happen. Now, as far as the in-season tournament itself, I love the concept of it. I like, you have to beat them by so many points. Like, I like that. It's, it's throwing some more interest into the game. So I like it. I do think that as far as selling it to the public, though, I think they need to do a better job of simplifying like some of the outcomes and, this team beat this team, this is going to lead to this later on. Because we understand that, but I think for the average, viewer who watches basketball, they don't necessarily understand all that stuff. So I think they need to do a better job of trying to sell that aspect of it. But overall, I think it was a success. Another reason too, I think it's really important that they do it now. To Parrish's point, now that the NFL is trying to creep into the Christmas now, to where that was always the NBA always did the Christmas games and all that kind of stuff. That was their thing. Now that the NFL trying to get into that lane too, it's even more imperative for them to have some kind of excitement before Christmas now too. Now the NFL is trying to shift that way too, in my opinion.
Frank, I actually had a conversation. It was a 30-minute conversation, and to your point, you're absolutely right. The average casual watcher does not understand anything about this. How it works. I had a conversation with my cousin on Thanksgiving Day. And he said, "What's the in-season tournament about?" He was like, "I didn't even know they had divisions." He was like, "I didn't even know you could win your division in the NBA." And it needs to be some clarification on this. It needs to be a little bit more cut and dry for the casual fan to understand. We as sports journalists, we do understand it, and we get into the weeds of it. Most people are not. So yeah, that's a good point, man. Because and I had a 30-minute conversation, and I'm like, I still don't think he understands.
Hey, Frank, I wanted to expound when you were saying about like the culture of the league. I wanted to get your more specifics on that. 15 years.
Well, when I say the culture, I mean like, okay, so for instance, I was talking with a student today. I was kind of trying to explain to him. We were just talking basketball. I was trying to explain to him like how the NBA was, back in the 90s and all that. It was just different. Telling him some stories about some of my favorite players and whatnot. I just feel like, now don't get me wrong, I'm all for, player empowerment and, brothers getting the money. I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong on that. But I feel like the integrity of the game is continued to be compromised when players, don't want to. I'll make it as simple as that. When they don't want to play. Yeah. So players don't want to play and they're healthy and they still not playing. I hate that. It makes me not want to watch it. It makes me not want to watch it.
Let me ask you a question. So do you think that the in-season tournament incentivizes players to want to come and actually start playing at the beginning of the season? Because for me, that seems to be the lull. Like, let's say a player is coming off a knee injury, and rightfully so, they need to rehab and get better to their 100%. I get that. But do you think that a lot of these players took from November to December kind of off, you know what I'm saying, in order to, all right, when I come back Christmas Day for those games, I'm going to be 100%. And really, in actuality, they're at 200% because they could actually be playing in November, right? Do you think that this in-season thing helps that? Or is the culture just that bad now?
Well, great question. I think it's too early to tell. I think we have to have like a couple of years, gather some data, and kind of look at it before the in-season tournament, and then after a couple of years of the in-season tournament, kind of see like are we seeing more players play and whatnot, or and kind of look at the stats and whatnot, and kind of compare like, okay, pre in-season tournament. Now we got a couple of years of in-season tournament. Are we seeing like the culture shift as far as more players playing, taking it more seriously, that kind of thing?
Okay,
but we have to take into account also that prior to the season, Commissioner Silver, they put in a rule that say if players are healthy, they got to play, or else teams will get fined, and they got all these penalties that they can put against the team. Because honestly, I don't think the in-season tournament had anything to do with players avoiding load management, so to say, because you still had a lot of players out. Kevin Durant and Booker and everybody on Phoenix, they haven't even played together, really.
Man.
I mean, a lot, but these guys have had legitimate injuries.
So how do you?
But Kawhi Leonard has played every game.
Contract year.
Right.
But I mean, not only that, but you can't load. I mean, the owners don't want to let this money come out their pocket.
I get what you're saying, but how do you avoid the doctor saying this guy's ready or this guy's not ready based on Commissioner Silver's mandate?
You hire professional doctors who gonna do what Adam Silver tell them to do. You know what I'm saying? But they gotta be professional. They gotta be on the up and up. Because,
right.
And
that's
now
what
you got
saying.
the media. The media is inside of everything. So you get the best doctors and is independent of the league. So the doctors say he hurt.
So damn near investigation almost, right?
I mean, no, you just hire the right people. I mean, when you're $1 billion organization like the NBA is, I mean, there should be an onus on hiring the right people, because you can pay the right people who got integrity and who gonna, follow the guidelines that you have set.
All right.
That's what's going on.
You know what? I going back, James. Going back real quick to your other point. I think you really have to examine both, like, data from both of those things separately. So in-season tournament,
but it's hard because they got instituted at the same time. So
no, it is.
All the data is gonna be for both of them.
You'd have to disaggregate it and separate it, but then look at both of those to see are more players playing based off of instituting these new rules, refining teams, and the in-season tournament, and then look at both of those and see, okay, are these two new things really helping, or is it staying the same, or is it getting worse? But I think you'd have to at least have 2-3 years worth of data to kind of really like get a full picture on whether.
This is not a good pulse. I agree with that. We can't do that right now.
Right. I think based on those two things we can't, but for what he's saying, like the culture change, like it's just that the money is great these days. The money was different back then. So now the incentive to play 82 games is not the same. Definitely, and you got the new technology, and they telling you, the new doctors and the people, they saying, oh, it's good to rest here, it's good to do this, good to do that. Every team got their own trainers, and they want to manage each player according to how they want to do it. So that's why when they mandated the new rules, they mandated it for the teams to get penalized, because a lot of times the players are getting scapegoated for load management when really it's the team telling the coaches to sit this player down this game or play him this many minutes. It ain't really got much to do with the player.
That's my asset. Don't.
Right.
You can't do that to him.
Right. Right, we're
You
trying
know?
to have him healthy during the playoffs. We need
Right.
him
Yeah.
during this time of the year. So
Yeah.
Right. No. You make a great point. So, James, going back to your idea, I agree with your idea as far as I think what the NBA should do. Yeah, to your point, all these teams have their own team doctors. The NBA got enough money to where they can assign, like you said, through some third party or whatever that's neutral, they can assign a doctor to each one of these teams. They get a second opinion based on this outside third party. Now, if that second opinion person agrees with the team, then yeah, it's legit. You have calibration. You sit that person out. But that's if they look at it and be like, no, this person is perfectly healthy to play. Hey, you get your butt out there and play. And if you don't, you gonna get fined. That's the way I would do it. I would create that system.
I think that would be a beautiful system. And just like you said, it seems like it's easy to put in place. But you let the NBA tell it, they're gonna tell you it's a money issue. They gotta pay these doctors. They gotta get all these people. You're right. I think it's doable.
Right. But here's the thing with the NBA. See, this is why you gotta hold their feet to the fire. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, we want to keep our TV deals and penalize teams for all this stuff, and on the other hand, saying we can't pay for doctors for each one of these teams.
Right.
Unless you're gonna drop games, but nobody wants to drop games to say 65 games or 70 because TV money.
Yeah.
And then
you have to play 72 games in order to get all the local money. You have to. But at minimum, they have to play 72 games threshold.
And I mean, it's just, the mindset changed on the regular season. No, people are hurt, but right. they just took it. They let them get an inch. They took a mile, and people just said, "I'll just play 60-something games in the regular season. Maybe it's all about the playoffs. Let me just make it that healthy." But I heard too, they don't practice enough, so they don't build up enough tolerance, and that's why these guys, even though they're saying we're in the most skilled era of the NBA ever, but they're not practicing enough. They're not doctors saying since they don't practice enough, they don't build up enough tolerance, so they start to get hurt, and the game isn't even physical, and they still getting hurt.
I mean, players have always got hurt.
But players have.
Basketball is a contact sport, but you can get hurt in basketball without making contact. Just you jumping all the time, you falling to the court all the time. I mean, guys get banged up,
Definitely.
I think players. I mean, if you want to be great, they practicing, they playing every day.
I'm sorry,
if they're not practicing, they playing in the game, or they doing some side shooting somewhere. I mean, you always ready to play some basketball if you're a baller, especially on this level. I mean, that's what I'm being told, and that's what I'm buying. That the players are putting in the work. Now, of course, that ain't 100%, but I think for the upper 90%, most of the players are putting in the work.
Yeah,
because the best they can be.
Yeah, because like somebody like MB, he changed his trajectory. He could have easily been Greg Oden. I mean, he flipped it. I mean, he's being blessed with health right now. And somebody like say, I guess like Bill, one of the guys who just can't stay healthy. Look at Ben Simmons, whatever's going on there. I mean, this is back woman, is his mind.
Right, everything.
Who else was it? I guess ain't nobody really major. I mean, Anthony Davis got a history of up and down. We're gonna see what
he's just fragile, man. He's just fragile.
Right, he got that Dwight Howard in him. That's what I believe. AD got that Dwight Howard in him.
But those first 8 years, Dwight Howard, till he messed up his back, he was pretty healthy, right?
Yeah, until he messed up his back. How did he mess up his back? That's what I'm starting to question.
That's something different now. Hold on. Well, let me mute on that one.
Hey. All right, Jay.
I mean, even Curry, even Steph Curry in the beginning, he had the ankle issues, but
now that's a good point. I like that.
I think about somebody, Maurice. I think about somebody who. Oh, sorry, Parrish. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think that as far as injuries are concerned, let's take LeBron out of the equation and just think about those players who are off injured and who were off injured in the beginning of their career who have turned out to be great players. I think Steph Curry is a perfect example of that. Man, he got injured a couple of years and we thought he was a bust, you know, and he's come and worked on his body. I mean, look at him from his Davidson years, even his first Golden State years, to where his body looks now. I mean, he's actually made moves and has made a conscious effort to actually protect his body. I think that should be applauded by him, for him.
That's what great players do if they want to be great. That's what Jordan did. Jordan had to go fight it right because Detroit was pounding him. You know, he wanted to be great.
They weren't even pounding him, James. They whooped his ass.
Right. They had a whole book about what to do.
You being nice.
Right.
And he still was getting 35 on him.
Right.
But he was losing though.
Yeah, Mike's still mad about that shit too.
He should be. It was different back then though.
Yeah, look.
Like he said, see, part of the culture change too. You know, it's part of the players and how they coming up, but you know, the league kind of changed with the culture. So the rules, like you can't play 80s style basketball now. The old guys, you can't. Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley, some of these guys, they wouldn't be in the league. You know, they about to get Draymond out of here.
I was
go
just
back
about
to
to
the
say that.
to the 80s and 90s. They said no, we don't want that no more. All that was good back in the day. So
get his ass up out of here, man. I'm fine with that.
I'm saying, Steve, but I'm
You don't
saying
like Draymond, man?
you can't have it both ways. You can't want the culture to be 80s. You know, so I mean, but I hear you.
I mean, maybe a little hand checking, but I mean, they I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I haven't heard any more flopping technicals being handed out. But that was supposed to be a big emphasis this year, the flopping and falling after jump shots. Still see a lot of it, but I don't know, I guess it's so hard to gauge.
Of the home games that I've covered for the Lakers, and I can only speak on the Lakers because that's the team that I cover, and who their opponents. I actually have not seen that being called. I've not seen a flop. I have not seen a flopping tech, to be honest. And I've done, a significant amount of home games for the Lakers. I can't say that. So
Reeves is a he's a culprit. He's
but
he does it a lot.
And yes, he was. But contract year.
I think they got him in that
this
first
guy's
game
a bum
against Denver.
now.
he been playing better coming off the bench. He had that.
That man got too much money for what he doing. So,
well, they figured him out. I mean, he got a tight handle. He handled it tight. And when he's on, he's better coming off the bench.
Well, the thing is, and this is what I have to tell my 14-year-old son, and this is why I don't understand why Reeves doesn't understand this. And it's very simple. You go off for one season, bro. They ain't coming at you. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that what you did last season is going to be the same sweet game and you can get back and do that again. No, you are a threat now. You have to understand that you got to play like you're a threat and you have to elevate your game. The thing you did last season is not going to cut it. And it doesn't even matter if it's a contract. All right, you got the contract. Bam, you got the money. Every year you should be trying to elevate your game. And that's what I tell my son. He's 14 years old. I was like, dog, they know that move now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, once they get used to you being left-handed, I'm like, bro, once you get to high school, that's null and void. You're going to have to go and get it. Reeves is not doing that. He got too much money, man.
No, man, that ain't his fault. See, we should never look into these players. you can't never look into these players' pockets, man. That's just what the owners them decide to give them. They gotta spend a certain percentage of the money anyway. I think they gotta spend up to 90% of the salary cap according to the CBA. So you gotta spend the money anyway. Somebody gotta get it. Look, at the end of the day, sometimes a player they reach their ceiling, and they still be that he's a solid player. He's always gonna work hard, but now he has to work hard just to stay solid. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna get too much better. I don't know what you think he's gonna be an all-star. He's
No. I agree with your point. You made the point that I actually was trying to make. You said
Right.
he's reached his ceiling. You know what I mean?
Reached his ceiling. Right.
Right. But for the casual fan,
right,
he's received too much money.
But the casual fan they're not looking at business the way it should be, because the casual fan does not understand the collective bargaining agreement.
Right, exactly. Right. So it had to be spent, right?
Right.
To your point.
And they want to keep him. So
right.
Right. He LeBron boy. They felt like he got chemistry. And one thing about Austin Reeves, I mean, I know that now the expectations are on him, so sometimes he's playing with a little bit of pressure, but in the past, I've always liked him for the Lakers because when he comes in the game, good things happen. Whether he score, whether he turn the ball over, whether he make the right pass, whether he just make the ball move. Good things usually happen when he come in the game, and so that that works well in his favor.
I agree with that, James. But man, I look at him all the time,
right?
And I cannot escape the part of me that says, man, they gave that boy too much money. And that's just me going back to that casual fan feeling, right? You know what I'm saying? And not looking at it from the analytical part of it, right? I'm being honest. That's just how it just shifts real quick.
I feel you, but as a fan, I also, from the fan aspect, I look at it that they gave AD too much money. But I understand why they gave AD the money. But as a fan, I'm like, why he get that much money? He got what Giannis got.
Hey, Maurice, can we go to another subject? Because I can't go down that rabbit hole right now.
If I could just say one more thing for we.
Yeah.
James, you struck a nerve, didn't you? I can't go down that rabbit hole. I just want to stay right here.
Go ahead, Frank.
I think how much players are getting paid and all that kind of stuff. I think it does go back to your desire about whether you want to be great or not. It really does. When the rubber meets the road, it always comes back to that. Do you want to be great or not? And if you want to be great, like Parrish said, you need to be developing your game not just every season. It need to be, from game to game. If you messing up on something, hey, I got this weakness. I need to work on this weakness instead of continue to try to keep fortifying the things I'm good at. Let me work on weaknesses in my game so gradually I can become a complete basketball player that can help my team win championships. They don't necessarily have that mindset. It's like, oh, I can do this, and this, and they're gonna pay me hundreds of millions of dollars just because I can play defense. Man, I'm just gonna play defense. They pay me $100 million this guy to shoot threes. I'm just gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. You need to have your specialists and role players and all that. I get that part, but at the same time, I think there is a huge lack of development. That's why you're seeing a lot of these European players start to crush us now, and foreign players start to crush the American players because they have a fully developed repertoire versus, oh, I'm great at these one or two things, and I can get by this whole time. But once I get to the big leagues, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a dime a dozen now. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Well, I think. Well, that starts at the lower levels. You talk about
it does.
The high school, the AAUs, and even into college, which now, the college game is kind of switched up because players have figured out different ways they can go about getting that that year off. But then you got to look at the NBA, the scouts and the general managers. When you have an NBA draft, that 2 rounds of drafting, it's the NBA inviting certain players into their league. So now the onus is on them to go out and invite the guys who are hungry and really love basketball. And then you got the undrafted guys. You know they hungry because they scratching and clawing just to be in the league. I think the guys that you're really talking about are the guys who are super talented, who can really be great players, who don't achieve that greatness because they're gonna be in the league anyway because of their talent. They don't have to scratch like the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th man, but at the same time, they're good enough in their place not to want to be the second or third or the first guy. You know, sometimes some of those guys get complacent. You know, the guys like in the past, like what's the guy who played with the Nets? 6'10" back in the day. Derek
Coleman.
Derek Coleman. All the talent in the world, right?
Syracuse.
If he don't put in no work, without putting no work, he's still gonna be in the league. But if he put in the work, he could be one of the greatest power forwards that ever played. So you got a lot of guys like that, but they super talented. For the most part, everybody working hard.
I saw a podcast with DeMar DeRozan and Paul George, and it started with DeMar DeRozan talking about how he got into a scuffle on a blacktop in LA. And he was like, man, I was sick. I was in the 6th grade, man. He's like, man, I dunked on the dude. And, he said, dude got mad, wanted to fight. And so the whole situation stopped. And I know y'all stopping right now because they were like, you was in the 6th grade and you dunked on the dude. He's like, yeah, man, I was like 6'3", 6'4", at the time. But they went on to talk about it, right? And a little bit to your point is that, him and Paul George admitted, he said, now, James, you know this, and Maurice, you know this. How many players are in the NBA current on the roster right now?
450.
450.
Right, somewhere around now. Right.
Both of them, Paul George and DeMar DeRozan, agreed that 100 of those guys don't put no work in.
Right. That's about it. Right. Those guys are super talented. They gonna be in the league regardless of what they do.
Yeah, he's like they absolutely. And no. This is the all right. So this is the point I'm trying to make. They're saying it's absolutely guys who are in the league who are actually no good, that are not putting in any work in. It's not even the talented ones that are not putting in work. They're absolutely saying that it's 100 guys that should not
you got a few
be
guys
playing,
right?
But they got the height, they got the pedigree, they went to the right school.
Or they got the right ties, like Giannis brothers in the league because, some people, sometimes it's political. You put a guy on the roster because, it make the superstar happy. He like that guy on the team.
That's super nepotism with Giannis, yep.
It is what it is, but they trying to win, man. It's basketball. If Giannis needed a brother on the team so that he can be, because you got to understand this now, all realness. He's from another country. He's lived in that other country his whole life. He came over here to play basketball. He's really by himself. He needs somebody, to make him feel a little bit at home. So, if he that guy, if he really that guy like that, all right, as long as your brother stay in shape and we can sell it, you put him on the team. You know what I'm saying? Just so that you can be in the right mental space to deliver at the championship. So from that aspect, I'm cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
If Lonzo would have did right and Melo would have did right, then they would have got their brother in the league. But they didn't do right, so Jello can't come. That's just how I go.
Yeah, because LaMelo hurt right now again too, right? And Lonzo out for the whole year.
Right. Lonzo might be done for
Hey,
his career.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
I think Lonzo done.
you keep it real, man. You funny as hell, though.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah, that's true though. Because how many? Well, I guess the twins, like the Morris twins, they just know how to survive. I mean, they really
Oh,
can't.
no. They played in Kansas.
Yeah.
They played in Kansas. And that's gonna guarantee you one in, dog.
Right.
I don't give a damn what you say.
Right.
And
And
then,
then it seemed like all them twins figure out some way to survive. Harvey and Horace, doggone the Collins brothers, the Lopez brothers, man. They always find some way to survive.
Got them boys in Orlando.
What about did you say the Plumlee brothers?
yeah, oh yeah, and then the
they
two
twins, though. I
Thompson
think
twins.
they just got a bunch of Plumleys.
No, that woman just had 3 big ass kids.
Right.
They not even.
They all played in the league.
Who that?
It's almost
Wagner?
like the Canseco family.
Plumleys.
Like,
Oh yeah,
like-
them and the Holidays too. Drew
Yeah.
Holiday,
Okay.
Justin,
yeah, the holidays,
and
yeah.
it's one other one, the young one.
So,
yeah,
he's in the league. So it's Drew
yeah.
and
All of them in the
and
league.
2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they all in the league.
Drew, Justin, and
There you
dang,
go.
I can't remember the last one.
Yep.
Remember the other one name? Yeah,
Yeah.
some probably with a J.
I
but
just saw him play. He plays for the Pacers, actually.
yeah,
Right.
Yep. He plays for the
yeah,
Pacers.
yeah, man. I mean, but yeah. So, what y'all and Draymond gave us something last night. I mean, swinging on Nurkic. Tried to sell it, but that was a clear turnaround slap punch.
No, I don't think it was all that. I think
Not-
Hey, y'all know where I stand with Dre. I already said how I feel about Draymond. I don't even need to say nothing else. I mean, hey, shout out to Tristan Thompson again. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
So what Tristan Thompson say?
Oh, you don't remember when they got into that fight?
right,
You don't remember
right.
that?
Back when they got
After
that
the finals?
stuff. Yeah.
And then he basically beat his ass at a party. That's what happened. Draymond
word?
approached Tristan Thompson. Yeah, he approached him. He was trying to apologize for all that stuff that happened in the finals. Dude just swung on him.
Oh, I didn't hear about
He
that.
didn't talk to him. He didn't know about.
Yeah, I remember
Nah.
that.
Yeah, LeBron was there. They had a bunch of stars there, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, hold on. Before we go any further with this story, this is what I think, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. There are some people in the league who understand that this is entertainment.
Yeah.
Hey, Draymond gets it. So, and what I'm saying is this: did you see the thing with Draymond and years ago? Well, Draymond and LeBron, and they sit in there, and it's just a barbershop talk type of thing.
Shop.
The shop, right? They understand that this is entertainment.
Right. What's
Tristan went outside of what was supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying?
It was still
Bro,
entertainment.
you gotta get your money where your butter is breaded, baby. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Tristan. No. Tristan went from in a LeBron commercial, and all he did was the head nod. James, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He did the head nod. That's all because he under a LeBron James factory.
Right. He was on top for a minute. Got a Kardashian and everything.
No. This is before he got the Kardashian. I think that head nod got him the Kardashian.
Right.
No, you gotta play the game, man. They Draymond and LeBron are in it for the money. Tristan, hey, bro. Hey, you in it for something different, bro. They try to get money. We entertaining. It's almost WWE now.
It is. It ain't now. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
It's just we were younger and we was more fanatical than we are looking at it for what it is. But once you start looking at it for what it is, you're like, oh, okay, this is sports entertainment. Oh, okay, I get it now. That's all it is. It's sports entertainment. But at the end of the day, you can be a fan because unless you on the inside or can follow the tea leaves, you don't know who's gonna win.
Right.
That's true.
You know,
And then with the, yeah, I mean,
right.
it makes you wonder with, I mean, with
Right.
every sport. I mean, once you put money in it,
I mean, you can see it. It don't make you wonder. You call it out every game, every big game you see. You say, "Oh, there it is. There go the rigging." And then for some reason, after you leave that alone, you go back and be like, "Oh, it ain't rigged." No, you see it every game, every sport.
and now the
You,
gambling is out of control.
oh,
Everybody
it's not
gambling.
pass interference. It's pass interference. It's the tuck rule. Is it not the tuck rule? Is it?
Yep.
Cut rule don't
Like, what
exist
is
no
it?
more.
You know, it's always where it need to be.
And to that point, the guy who played at Ohio State, damn it, went to the Celtics.
Evan Turner.
Yeah, Evan Turner.
Evan Turner, yeah.
He said he was on the team with the Sixers. Him and Elton Brand. And they were playing the Celtics. And at the time, the Celtics are loaded. You got Garnett, you got
Right.
Pierce,
Paul,
and you got Ray, right? He said, "Man, this game is 7." Evan Turner said he went in there. He's like, "Man, I'm hyped, man. We gotta get this." You know. He said Elton Brand told him to sit down, son.
Oh yeah.
Let me talk to you in a minute.
I heard about
We
that.
gonna have to win by 15 to win by 1. And he said, "Man, what you mean?" And to your point, James, that's actually it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta beat everybody in the arena.
Right.
You gotta beat the coaches, the refs, the
Right.
players. You gotta beat
Right.
everybody by 15
Right. See what a lot of
to
people
win a
don't
game
understand.
7.
Right.
Man,
See, the
come on.
players normally, like when you come to sports entertainment, the players' job is to play the best they can, as hard as they can. They not in on the rig. If a player gets found point shaving, gambling, or doing anything, that's the worst thing you can do in sports. Because we already got it rigged. Now you rigging it what's already, you messing up the money. Somebody could get killed behind you point shaving. So you just banned from the game, period. Well, you can go rape your girlfriend, you can murder
because
someone.
you didn't know what was going
Right.
on.
Because you didn't know what was
something
going on.
else.
We paying you enough money not to do something on the side. Just play. We got everything under control here.
We got you. You just
Right.
need to play.
Right. And see, so a lot of times in when we talk about NFL, we talk about black coaches a lot of times not getting opportunities and things like this. And it's true, but a lot of times what we don't understand is the politics.
They don't want
To
to
be
buy
a
into
head,
it.
to be a head coach in the NFL, you got to be willing to play the game.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
got to
right.
know what's going on in the game and willing to play it. That's what happened to the coach in Miami, the black coach, Brian Flores. He ended up trying to sue the team because he was like, look, they sabotaging me. They telling me to do everything I don't want to do.
Mhm.
Well, now you can't be a head coach. And it was a bad look on black coaches because he showed that he wasn't willing to play the game. The game is played. Kyle Shanahan played the game. Look what he doing now. Head coach of San Francisco.
But
He had to do what he had to do.
He did what he had to do against
He
the Falcons.
did what he had to do.
And he coached the Falcons at the
And
time.
the money was good.
And he got the bag.
And the Falcons got the Super Bowl. They got a new stadium. Everybody got paid out the deal.
And Tom Brady gets his legacy. New England gets
Yes.
their championship.
That's the
He
game.
goes to San Francisco.
Yes, it's storytelling. That's
Yep.
the game. If you don't play the
Oh.
game,
Yep.
you're going to be out.
Yeah, and just to add on to what I never really thought about, but processing, like everything you guys are saying, I think it's incredibly plausible that this is the way this operates. And here's the reason I say that.
It is. It's a produced program.
It is. Now, here's the reason I say that too. Even looking at some of the language, you know, a lot of these commentators or people who are kind of building up the game, whether it be NFL or NBA, think about it like this. So I'm a part of a frat. I constantly hear talking about, oh, the NBA fraternity, the NFL fraternity. That leads me to believe that underneath all this is really a secret society. So being in a secret society, if you do anything, giving away secrets or anything to try to compromise the integrity of the society, you got to get dealt with. So, what was the guy's name, that referee? Tim Donaghy? Is that his name?
Tim Donaghy. Oh, yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Perfect example. You know, he got caught, you know, basically leaking secrets.
Right.
Now, you got to deal with this dude. We're going to destroy him. We're going to make an example out of him. Right. So we ain't nobody else going to do this again to compromise our business. I do think it's very plausible that it operates in fashion. Now going back to black coaches and certain people got to get an opportunity. Absolutely. The way it works is it's very political. You already have certain people that are entrenched in certain positions that make all the decisions anyway. So you're not with. Two is you have an inner circle. Let's just say it's the NBA, the NFL. You have this inner circle, just the NBA, NFL. But within that inner circle, there are more inner circles until you get to that main one to where everything's being controlled from. So no, I think it's definitely possible. Now, from the actual game standpoint, now sticking with the NBA, I don't think it was more evident than what we saw in Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals, Lakers and Blazers. I think that was the most obvious I've ever seen it, to where they were just playing cheating so the Lakers can win. They're just playing cheating.
You mean the Kings? You mean the Blazers?
No, I mean the Blazers
too?
and the Lakers. The Blazers and the Lakers, game 7. That first year that Kobe and Shaq won that championship, Game 7. Right. That was absurd. I ain't never seen a game where that much cheating in my life. It was so obvious.
They won like 15 starting the fourth quarter.
They called a palming violation on Steve Smith. When's the last time they called a palming violation in a regular season?
They called it when they needed to.
Like a palming violation? Are you kidding me right now?
Hey, Frank. I saw a YouTube video where Allen Iverson they prefaced it by saying Allen Iverson got into it with a referee, right? And it was on the cusp of the finals for the Sixers. And they really needed these games to kind of get in, right? And Allen Iverson, being himself, he said something to a referee. They started calling all of the palming from Allen Iverson. So basically what they did was this. They actually nullified his crossover. And the referee, they interviewed him, and he said Allen Iverson came up to me and said, "Hey man, how many more games this shit gonna go on, man?"
I heard about that.
He's all like, will you apologize?
Right. Well, that happens. That happens. Look at Chris Paul and Scott Foster relationship, and then look at the record when he plays his game. You can even go back to, like you said, Donaghy. They had another referee, Bob Delaney. If you know anything about Bob Delaney, he used to be in the mafia. He ended up snitching and was a rat. And Bob Delaney was like his undercover name as an NBA referee. You don't think the mob, these folk know this man right in all these games, but he got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these referees in all these sports, baseball, football, basketball, they long tenure. They know how the game works, how to keep a game moving. These things, when the game need to go a certain way, they put certain referees in. And then when they get too old, they usually get their kids or somebody else they've groomed to be in that position.
Quick question.
So that's what you see a lot in the NFL going on right now. So you had a lot last couple years in the NFL. If you noticed, you've had some rough games, some rough looking games. They ain't been as smooth because some of these new referees that are coming in Hockey League, he left, but his son came in. You know, they gotta kind of, get some chemistry.
So James, let me ask you and Frank and the whole panel, what is the common thread that actually across the board for all major sports in the United States? What is the common thread between the umpires and the referees? Do you know?
They all control the game. They the gatekeepers to the game. They gonna determine.
Brother, I tell you this. They're judges.
Right. Oh, you mean in real life?
They're judges.
In real life, most of the time they judges and lawyers. Right.
Lawyers,
They judges and lawyers in real life. Right. Right. In real life, most of the time they judges and lawyers.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
That is the common thread.
Right.
How?
Because they know the law. Look, you gotta understand.
Yes.
The games. What you see on the court, what you see on the field of play, that's entertainment. That's for the fans. But the game is played up top. This go all the way to the White House.
That's why I said who controls it. And that, I love you for knowing that. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people don't understand.
we've been around a long time. When you actually work in it, like part of being a logger at CNN, part of your job is to tell the story that's presented before you.
Right.
You are part of the machine. You the storyteller.
I am.
I mean, that's how we work. I mean, but
that's
I mean, and you good at it. So when you watch that game and you see that star, and now you see whatever happened, now you gotta put a highlight base together on what is the story of the game. And when you put that highlight together and it goes out to all the media around the world, well, that's the story that's being told. You telling that story. That's why, I had it when I was there.
Let me ask you guys this.
It was my responsibility to tell the story that needed to be told the right way.
Exactly. Now, let me tell you this. You know how many 27-10 games AD has had this year?
I don't know how many.
Enough to be put in the highlight. Right. More than one shot.
Right.
It's very important that you said that. Right?
Right.
This man has had 27-10. But LeBron gets all of the airplay. Right?
Correct. As he should.
How? Now, if you're gonna go grassroots basketball.
Right.
Grassroots basketball,
right.
Nigga, how the hell he get more accolades than I do? And I'm 27-10. I'm the 7-footer.
Because the story that's being told is reputation.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give you an example. I had a game. I was in NBA TV. It was Houston versus the Lakers. All right. Kobe scores 40 points in this game. Right.
Right.
But the game goes into triple overtime. Every time it went into overtime, something spectacular had to happen for it to go into the next overtime. Now they only, because it's a late night game, they only want you to give a 1 minute highlight package. Well, my 1 minute highlight package is showing how these games kept going into overtime.
Right.
But Kobe scored 40. So they was like, well, you don't got enough Kobe. Now Kobe was just on some, fade away. He wasn't at this time dunking on Kobe. It was just an easy 40. Just a pull up jumper, fade away. He wasn't that spectacular. But the spectacular stuff was getting them to overtime. Court shots for three, that kind of stuff. So I put all that stuff in the highlight for a minute. And they was upset at me because they was like, why Kobe ain't in the highlight? Because Kobe is the story they want to tell. But the game, what I'm telling the story of, is about overtime.
Right.
So,
Hey, they didn't want you to put Smush Parker in there.
Now they didn't want me to put Aaron Brooks in there. That's right.
Well,
Trevor Reeser was there.
Go to Smush Parker years, right?
Right.
All about the ratings and the stars.
It's about telling the right story.
Telling the
you
right
got to tell the
story.
story.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
And I hate that.
I get it.
I hate that. But once you put money, I mean, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. So once you put money into stuff, the integrity goes out the door. I mean,
right. It is going to be even more, storyline driven with this social media stuff. It's just an extension of it.
Right.
It's like, oh, we got all this social media stuff. We gonna drive our storylines doing all this stuff too. That
Right.
I mean, it makes sense from a financial standpoint. It makes sense from a business standpoint. It makes sense.
It's the only
If you're about trying to make money, yeah, it makes sense. But if you're about trying to improve the integrity of the game, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know.
I guess the thing is, like James was saying earlier, we might suspect and be skeptical of what we're seeing, but as long as they don't know for sure,
well,
then
I think
the integrity.
nowadays with all these like social media platforms and all these podcasts, you got Rasheed Wallace and Gilbert Arenas. They talk about this stuff openly. They'll talk about they knew what referees was coming and how many ticks they were gonna get, how the team was gonna get penalized because they was on the team, who was working the game, which meant how the game was gonna go. They talk about. I think it's kind of there now. It's just, do you like to watch basketball? Do you like football? Do you like baseball? Do you like seeing the players perform? I mean, that's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's gonna go how it's gonna go. I think sometimes from a fanatical standpoint, it's good not to know stuff. Like for me, I can't be a big fan because I just know too much. So I gotta kind of watch it twofold. I gotta watch it based on what I understand, and I gotta try to root for certain players so I can get into a fan mode. But I'm never upset about wins and losses. I get it. I understand how it goes.
It has to happen.
Yeah, it just never. The professional leagues didn't hold me after teenage years, adolescent years, whatever you want to call it, just early life. Now, when it comes to Carolina basketball, I'm a fan. I mean, I hate Duke on one hand, go Carolina on the other hand. I mean,
I love Duke.
Hey, it's fine. So but I don't.
Duke don't pan out, man.
Yeah, they don't. And but I guess I don't look at. Maybe stuff is going on to where I don't know if what I'm watching is lacking integrity, but I just know for those 2 halves of 20 minutes, I want my team to win, and I'm going for them. Now in the pros, it's just like I pick players here and there. Maybe they had something to do with where I come from, or we didn't have a team, so I don't have allegiance to a team like that. Right. And even with football, I've pulled less away from that. It's just, I mean, I watch it. I watch it mainly to stay informed, and I do like Mahomes. I think he's entertaining, but for most part, I think the guy Purdy is a major success story. I mean, it'd be great if he go from Mr. Irrelevant to MVP. That'd be.
So can I chime in real quick, man? And to your point, man, I understand what you're saying. For me personally, I like the brand of basketball. So when I interjected that I like Duke, I absolutely love the brand of basketball that Duke Duke actually competed at the highest level with the North Carolina. in the early years. So I go back to this, and I'm gonna go back to the 80s, and I'm gonna date myself, and I'm fine with that. I'm 51 years old. I just had a birthday, so to see a school like Duke compete with North Carolina, and then coming off James Worthy, Michael Jordan, who else? Kenny
Sam
Smith,
Perkins.
Sam Perkins, all those guys, and to see Johnny Dawkins actually kind of, make a little imprint, just as, and it was the basketball at its purest for me. Just to see those guys. It wasn't an all-star team. And what happened was we got a brand of basketball. I would love to go to Allen Fieldhouse. I want to sing Rock Chalk Jayhawk. You know what I mean? Because it's a brand. It's a brand. It's a brand of basketball. I actually right now don't think that a brand is actually out there that the four of us on this can actually gravitate to in NBA.
NBA don't have brands.
They have
See,
play.
That's why.
They have play.
Like,
They
for
have
me,
legacies.
when I was younger and I was a child, I was everything Atlanta. I'm all they fans, whatever. But then I got older and I started, trying to educate myself, and then I understand that team name, that Hawk, that Falcon, or whatever it is, that's a mask for who you really investing in when you
All right, let's
investing
make
in
this
team,
quick, man. We're gonna get some
which
gold,
is the owners.
and let's get the hell out of here.
And so if you don't really know who the owner is and where that owner stands for, his political views, what he's putting his money behind, his character and that type of thing, then you are rooting blindly for whatever reason to some team that you were born into traditionally. You know what I'm saying? So that's why for me, I root for players. It's hard for me to root for an owner who is using his political capital to go against the community and our children and that type of thing. Right. And then when you go to these games, you spend that money on merchandise, food, parking, the ticket. Like, that's money that the owner can now spend to actually use against you. So a lot of times, being a fan of a team, a diehard loyal, it actually does you harm in the long run. But it's blindly. You don't see it because it's not direct.
Yeah, I know, but James, I definitely agree with you, man. I'll never root for any. That's why I don't really root for teams either. I mean, yeah, once you get older, you kind of learn all the different dynamics and whatnot. That made me stop rooting for the teams too. So, I'll give you an example. When I was still in Atlanta, I used to work at the Braves Stadium. I was used to wash dishes, all that stuff after I got out of college. When the economy crashed or whatever, just trying to find some work.
Mm-hmm.
What I realized, as I was going into the stadium, I what I saw in the neighborhood. This is before they moved, to the new stadium, the old stadium. What I realized, walking to the stadium, just going through the neighborhood, how run down that whole neighborhood and all that kind of stuff, deprived of resources, that kind of thing.
Right.
What I realized was this dude Ted Turner, he was basically just pimping out very poor black people, elderly black people who pretty much, be on the streets, begging for all that kind of stuff, homeless, all that kind of stuff. He pay him I don't know, five, whatever minimum wage was, and he just pimp out the whole community. So you see guys sitting there, oh yeah, come over here to park. Oh yeah, here, I'm gonna be on the corner selling water. It was disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are people who have inhabited these communities for generations. And the fact that, this multi-billionaire can come and be like, hey, I'll give you a couple of pennies, do this little work for me while I sit up here and make billions and billions of dollars off of you guys back. So, just a real life example of, to your point.
Most times stadiums are usually built in on cheap land, should I say.
Mhm.
And that cheap land is always, no matter what city you go into, the stadium is in the hood. You know?
It-
You be like, how this beautiful stadium now there in the projects? Because the land
right.
was cheap.
Except
Right.
Except SunTrust, what is it called? With Truist now, they
Well,
they moved that
but
junk
see,
out to Cobb County.
well, the politics was different on that deal, though. With Newt Gingrich and all them folk did. They developed the whole area. They the only one making money over there. I just tell you that. They decided
The battery.
which one of their homeboys is gonna make money, and if you want one of their homeboys, you can't make no money over there.
Mhm. Let's get
Well,
back
absolutely,
into
that's what
the
they- absolutely.
before we close out. Let's get back to some of the just a few expectations. James Wimbenyama, I like to call him Wimbonjama.
Right.
Team is bad. I didn't think they would be this bad.
Yeah,
They approaching 20 straight losses like Detroit. But what do you think of them? You like him? I mean, he's just a rookie, but what do you think of him overall?
Well, I think it's too early. He's so skinny right now. Actually, they're getting their ass beat. The Lakers beating their ass right now, but right now, it's because I kind of understand basketball. Sometimes it's disappointing that a guy who's 7'4" just won't get the ball, like 12 feet below that, and hold it over his head and turn around and just put the ball in the goal. And then you got 2 points and you go down to support. But because he's a new age kid and he want to see what he can do, he pretty much let him roam free. He ain't really giving him an assignment just yet. And the players around him, they don't respect him right now as that guy because they all high draft picks. They all trying to make a way for themselves. They all trying to get to that next contract. So they just not feeding him the ball and saying, lead us. So I think right now they're going to be awful. They're going to get another high draft pick. And then I think next year Pop will start to say, okay, we gave you a year. We see what you do well. We see what you don't do so well. This is how we're going to use you. But right now they don't. Like for the first time in about 25 years, there's no system in San Antonio.
Well,
That's
a great point. I actually think the success that Duncan had was actually absolutely associated around the fact that they were not a bad team. And maybe you said that, but
yeah, they weren't. They had a bad year, but they weren't.
Yeah, they tanked once David Robinson got hurt. They went ahead and tanked.
Right, they had a lot of good veterans on that team, and right, I agree.
And they just tanked out when David Robinson got hurt. He was like, well, we're just gonna tank out. we see who at Wake Forest. And we try to get him.
They competed. They competed, and you have to give it to them. I feel the same way about Kobe in a little bit, right? Like Kobe made some bad shots early in his game. They gave it to him. He couldn't make it. It wasn't a terrible team. Hell, they had Shaq. You're on the cusp of getting that ring, right?
Right.
In '96, when Kobe missed those shots in the playoffs, it was just a matter of time. We already knew, as basketball enthusiasts, we already knew, hey, what was about to happen. So.
And I mean, he's a young player, so it's gonna just take him time to develop.
Yeah, a young player got shots.
He got some skills. He's a good shooter. I don't like all that dribbling because you're too tall, so you're gonna get the ball stolen from you. So I'd rather he just make one move and go, or just catch and shoot it. But like I say, he got a lot of work to do, to be great. To be good. Like he's one of those guys I was saying to Frank earlier that if he don't put no work in, he's still gonna be in the league. He's 7'4" and he got a nice little arc and jump shot. But if he puts the work in, he could be one of the best players that we ever seen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He can play basketball. Right. You know that.
Oh yeah, he can play ball.
But can he be great? Is what the real question is.
Right, exactly. And the thing about Wemby too is, no, I totally agree. No matter what, if he stay healthy, like Maurice just said, he'll be a great player. He'll make all-star teams, all that. But if you're trying to reach that upper echelon of greatness, like how they're projecting him as possibly the greatest, draft pick or whatever you want to call it ever, prospect ever,
right?
Maurice, you need to stop, boy.
No, that's what they said. They said prospect. That's what it's since LeBron, he was the greatest.
Yeah.
If he
some people were saying better than LeBron. But
they was. I heard they were saying better than LeBron.
He got
wow,
I heard that too.
High praises.
He got unless he get injured, man. He gotta perform, dude. I mean, he's gonna be one of the biggest busts if he don't don't perform with all the expectation.
Hey man, Sam Bowie is the biggest bust. He can't.
I don't know. He
can't get past that one.
I think Michael Olowokandi is probably the biggest. Either him or right.
What to do with Cleveland? Number 1 pick. Cleveland.
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett was awful.
They was wrong for doing that. That man was nowhere in the number 1 pick.
That
man played at UNLV.
Yeah. Sam Bowie got hurt.
That man.
Sam Bowie got hurt.
If you get hurt, I can't really call you. But everybody knew Sam Bowie was that deal. He just got hurt.
You got a point.
He played at least 10 years in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he was
off. He was off injured. I get to the point.
Right.
Yeah, he was off injured.
Right. I mean, Greg Oden.
Great. I have no other explanation of that for you than he was off injured.
Yeah, he was off injured. Right. I got you.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because a lot of people end up getting injured. We have to pick out some people who didn't, who busted out like Billups was about to be a bust, but Billups turned it around.
So is Oden a bust?
I don't think so because he
was
hurt.
injured.
I can't say if you got hurt, you get hurt. I can't say you're a bust when you get hurt. That's like something out of your control.
He was injured.
Right, but a lot of people, say that.
If you just up,
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett, right? You out the league, like I wouldn't even call Kwame Brown a bust. He played for a long time. He just wasn't what everybody thought he would be.
Right,
a lot of times, the best player in the draft is not the first player picked.
Right. It's a crap.
And they're not the best player. I get it. What I'm trying to say is this: do you actually equate a bust with an injury?
People usually do. I think most people do. I don't.
No. I'm talking about I'm forward right here.
Oh no.
I don't.
No, I can't. If you get hurt, I can't say you was a bust. There's too many guys that got hurt.
Yeah. And the way I look at it, I look at a bust. The way I define a bust, you have these high expectations and you didn't reach them, not based on injury, based on just your ability or based on your lack of effort or whatever it is, you ain't reaching. Now, I look at somebody who get injured who had high expectations, you just didn't meet those expectations. I differentiate those two. Because if you have things that are out of your control, like getting hurt and all that kind of stuff you just can't control, I don't consider that a bust. But if it's stuff that's in your control, whether it be you just want to be lazy or use drugs or whatever the case may be, and you don't reach it, that's a bust to me.
I think DeMarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, and Johnny Manziel, I think these are busts. Josh Gordon, to some extent, is a bust to me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys could do it, but for whatever reason,
I get you.
They didn't get it done.
Right. Just You got
Hey,
the money,
man.
and everybody don't play for the same things.
You know, Anthony Bennett, like you say, he out the league. I mean, there's a lot of guys come in the league and then they out the league. We saw Jonathan Bender. You know, these guys.
He got hurt though.
Oh,
Right.
well,
I mean, he did get hurt.
Oh, you said Bender?
He did get
Wow.
hurt, but
Bender.
he wasn't no good though when he got healthy. So
I seen Jonathan Bender. He came up to this was on Army base in Texas. When I lived in Texas, man, we was up. Me and my brothers up there shooting hoop. This dude came up there by himself. You know, he just playing by himself. Ain't say nothing to nobody. I'm looking like, man, that's Jonathan Bender. He was up there by himself, quiet as he didn't talk to nobody, nothing, just shooting.
Hey,
that's what he should have been
fellas,
doing.
I gotta get out of here, man.
You do.
Yeah,
We forgot about to beat and Darko. To beat.
Yeah,
I got an NHL.
Darko Milicic. Yeah.
Maurice, what was it?
I like Maurice.
What do you think of trash? Think of the beat?
Hey, I love you, man. Hey, Jay.
All right, man. I love you, man.
Yeah, I love all y'all, man.
All right,
I gotta
Appreciate you,
I gotta
man.
do an NHL game tonight, man.
Oh.
All
All
right.
right. Have fun with that.
Hey, man. Hey, hopefully they score a lot of goddamn goals.
Hey, that's the easiest story to tell. Goals and fights. Goals and fights. Somebody get hurt.
No, I don't want to fight, James. You know why? That slows the game down.
It does slow the game down. But that's the most exciting part.
So I want it to be a 3. This is what I'm hoping. 3-1. That means they scored enough goals to actually win, and they scored not enough goals to slow the damn game down, and I can get the hell on out of here. So yeah.
All right,
Hey, man, I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
Love you too, man. See you next time.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yep. All right.
Happy New Year.
But few more games. John Moran to be back, y'all.
Okay.
You think? I think I'm not willing to bet on it, but I think he can give them enough of a boost to maybe get to the play in. What y'all think?
I don't think so. I mean,
they done.
I think there's an outside chance maybe they'll catch fire at the end of the season, but I doubt it. I think he's the leader of the team. He obviously effed the chemistry up. It takes time to build that chemistry. It won't take time to build trust back. Because to me, if I'm his teammates, I'm pissed at this dude. You basically left us hanging to engage in all this nonsense, and now we suffering as a result. And then, to me, it's even the chemistry of the team. Like, you gonna be our leader, we can't even trust you. I think for those reasons, I don't see it happening.
They got a lot of injuries, and I don't know what's up with Marcus Smart, but I haven't seen him play much. I know Bain been off and on, Jackson doing what they can, but they proving that they need another player at the next level with them. They're not enough to win. I thought they would hold it down.
They need a great player, back in the fold, and that's what Ja Morant is. He's a great player. Hopefully, he's been putting in the work. I'm not as disappointed in Ja Morant as a lot of people are. I do think he got railroaded in this situation. I think the suspension was unfair. He didn't break any laws and break any rules. You see a lot of times the NBA decides on who they want to let slide for certain things, put that under the rug, and the ones who they want, because like the guy, Ja Morant is a star. That's what happened. He's a star, and the NBA needs him to make it. He messing with the NBA money by doing what he was doing. Even though he didn't break no rules, he just been an immature young person, and he does a lot of what a lot of people his age are doing. And they got social media to actually show it like some stupid idiots. He's an idiot. But he's gonna grow up, he's gonna mature, he's gonna get older, he's gonna be a decent person, and he's gonna do the right things. You know what I'm saying? I have no concerns about that. So I wish he would have been able to play anyway. But coming back, I think he'll be hungry. I think Marcus Smart being on the team, they put some veterans around him to kind of, just teach him how to behave when you're in this type of situation. So I don't know if it'll be enough to be in the play-in, but the season is so young, it's so early.
Right.
I think everybody got a shot still. I don't think nobody out of it. If except for the teams that clearly don't have the the talent, like San Antonio, but in Portland. But I believe John Morant and I think he got enough people around him on that team, good basketball players that they can go on a run. They can win 10 straight, 11 straight, or 11 out of 15 or something like that, and get right back in the mix. Definitely when you only got to be in the play-in, you just got to finish 10th.
Yeah, I just think it's going to have to go with, it's going to just depend on how the schedule folds out, how healthy they can stay. Now, they don't have one key player they're missing is Tyus Jones, who they traded to Washington.
Right.
He helped hold things together a lot last year because when John missed a lot of games, they was like, if it won last year, the year before that, it was like 20-2 or something. So
yeah, he played great.
Yeah,
I think they played. I think their record without him that year was 22-5. I think he missed 27 games. I think they were 22-5 without him.
Right.
Yeah, no Clark, no Adams. I still
think
they're
missing big.
Yeah, he can give him a bump. But
because they got be getting a raise though, so they had to go ahead and let him go.
Who?
He was gonna get a raise. He was due for a raise, so they had to let him go.
Jones.
Right.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right, because you got to pay other guys to get to fit the salary cap. So sometimes guys are due for a raise, and you got to make way with them, or you get caught up like the Lakers did with Austin Reeves, and now folk mad. The man due for a raise. You either give him a raise still, or you send him somewhere where he can get the raise. But this is a business.
Yeah, like they not trying to give Klay Thompson that raise. I saw they said
they gave
2 years, $48 million.
They were very loyal to Klay Thompson his whole career.
Right.
Klay Thompson is clearly not the player he used to be.
Clearly.
Right. So anything they offer him is fair. I like Golden State because they've been very loyal to their players, man. And those players got them championships and went to 5 straight finals appearance. They said, you know what, we're gonna pay all y'all. And we're gonna, hell, they offered to pay Durant too. He just wanted to leave. But they're willing to pay everybody who helped them, Kevon Looney, whoever. And I can appreciate that, as a fan who sometimes don't want to see business done as usual. Sometimes I just want to see the right thing from a fan perspective being done. And that's what Golden State. And that's gonna hurt them. In the next 3 to 4 years, they're gonna be really bad. But they still got prestige though.
But is it time to? I know everybody's saying make a move, but is it? I know you want to be loyal to them guys, but they can't even package up the role players who had some value, like Moody or Kuminga now. So it's like,
who you gonna move?
That's what I'm saying. Unless you move,
you can't move them guys.
You're not gonna move Klay Thompson.
No, I'm not moving Steph either.
You're definitely not moving him. Now right. Draymond, Steph make the call, but Steph probably not gonna make the call.
Nah.
So y'all gonna be a
Draymond,
500 team.
Tight. Nah. Steph loves that brother, man. Steph loves that brother. He don't want to see Draymond go. That man, that's like his blood. That's his brother, man.
That's his goon.
Right.
Yep,
so
that's his goon.
So
he wouldn't be as great as Steph is. He wouldn't be that great without Draymond. I got to give that.
They just paid Draymond.
They did.
As much as I dislike Draymond as a person, the way he played basketball, I got to give him that. As far as a lot of dirty stuff, dirty work Draymond did, created that avenue for Steph and Klay to be so great.
Because he know where they're gonna be, and he make all the right passes and right plays.
Draymond is a great basketball player,
point guard. So, but
smart dude.
But now the organization,
that in Michigan State,
right? The organization now is looking at it like, well, do y'all want to be mediocre? Because the West is getting better. Everybody's big. They haven't even addressed their size issue. So it's like, what y'all gonna do?
Is it size? Big men don't grow on trees, and every team need one. That's why big men's at a premium right now. All the big men getting paid. I don't give a damn how good or bad they are. You gotta pay a bid.
But they ain't even.
If you don't pay them, then you're not gonna have your bid.
Right, but they didn't even really go after one, or they didn't.
Ooh, yeah, it's not a lot of bigs out there.
No, I'm just saying a capable body to, because you got Jokic, You need I ain't saying a capable body
Just
like
put a
that.
body up there, then. I mean,
Yeah, Looney. I mean,
you gotta go. There's some guys on the street. That's
they
7
was
feet.
talking about the Dwight Howard, but
No, come on, man. Stop playing, man. You see Dwight Howard can't be in the league.
I'm just saying that's all that I heard they was going after. They ended up getting Sarge. I know Dwight Howard done, yeah, but
the last time you seen Dwight Howard play, what did he look like?
Who was he with? Philly? Just look
He
like
with the Lakers. No, he with the Phillies. He with the Phillies. Then he came back for that little short stint with Blake.
Oh yeah, just old and done, washed up.
So he look like
I mean, I don't know who they could get, but they haven't. If you're not going to address the size issue, and the teams out west got size like Minnesota, Denver, and you talking about Steph compete for championships, then because what else? Yeah, you still play. Obviously, want to play, but I mean, unless they just good with what they got.
Every team that has a big in the league either paid him big money, like what Minnesota did with Rudy Gobert and Cat.
Towns.
Right, Towns.
And Reed. And Nas Reed.
Right. They paid him. Or you draft a guy, and they ain't coming out right now. You either got to, or you trade for one.
Yeah, but they traded away Wiseman. I guess he's gonna be a bust. He's not even playing in Detroit.
Clearly,
wow.
He's not even playing like. And they said during this hurt, and he might be playing a little more now, but because they got the guy. What's it, Isaiah Stewart? Now he's
right.
You try to get maybe somebody like him, like just to give you something legit on the front line.
Right.
And especially with Draymond out now, who was it, Looney and Sarge? You even smaller, so it's just gonna be rough for them, man. I think
it's gonna be rough. You can't win without a big.
They go there. I'm sorry, I have to say this. This dude Gobert, this dude really got fined $25,000 for getting choked. How you get fined $25,000 for getting choked? You got choked.
It's what he did before he got choked.
When he
put
grabbed
his
Klay
hand
Thompson.
on.
I know, but really, it still looked like he got.
But he still got choked.
Yeah,
got fined. Right. That's crazy.
I'm sorry. I just got.
Rudy Gobert is like. He's like a clutch sort of. Like I do want to root for him, but you can't root for him because he the reason why they had to go to the bubble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about this. Then that thing, he got COVID. Now he didn't. Now they gotta go to. They stop all the games the next day. Like, look at this idiot.
He's a buffoon. That dude is a buffoon.
Right.
I'm sorry, I just had to say that. It's just so funny. It's just so funny to me. So going back to the bigs, I think
he got mad money. Right.
I love how the bigs are coming back. Because I was always like, I love post play, all that kind of stuff. That's my style of basketball. I don't like all this shooting threes. Now, I like balance. Right. Don't get me wrong. I like a balance. Do a little bit of post, a little bit of fast break, threes, all that. I love that kind of basketball. Now, as far as with the bigs, now correct me if I'm wrong. Last 5 MVPs have been bigs, if I remember correctly. Last 5 MVPs winners have been bigs.
Right.
So, and not only are they bigs, it's kind of morphing into these unicorn bigs to where they got these really robust skill sets you would never see bigs have. Let me not say that they wouldn't have, but they weren't allowed to play that way back in the day. Because everything was more position basketball and structured and all this kind of stuff and formulaic. But now that they can kind of open up and explore their whole skill set, I'm excited about it. I mean, you got somebody like Giannis, run the fast break, deliver these pinpoint passes, play defense, do all this stuff. Then you go to Yoke. This dude Yoke can do a little bit of everything. I mean, he's not a great defensive player, but man, outside of playing great defense, man, this dude can do pretty much. His skills are better than any player you can name in the league. And then you go to Embiid. This guy can shoot. He can play in the post. He plays great defense. He has great footwork. He kind of like a bigger version of Hakeem in a sense, but he can shoot. He can shoot better. So with that being said, I think yes, I totally agree. Now going back to what we talked about with Wemby, I think Wemby will be fine. I mean, he just got to figure it out. He got to put some muscle on. The fact that he's a unicorn, he's such a matchup nightmare.
We're going back to the Lakers right now.
He ain't even got to really put no work in. He'll still be a star just based on him being a unicorn in a matchup nightmare. Just based on that alone. So I'm excited about it. I really am. I am.
Yeah.
And I hope we see more of it.
Yeah, the Lakers up 2 in the fourth quarter. They was up down to 20 points in that game.
Oh wow.
Now they up 2 points with 21 seconds, and Wemby is at the line to try to put them down 1. So now they down 1 point. He
got 30, 13, and 6 blocks.
Right. So I've been sitting here
watching
this in the Milwaukee game. So he doing, like I said, they let them play free. The Lakers really ain't that good, man. I'm gonna tell you that first of all. They're really not that good, but they've been having some favorable stuff go their way this season so far. I think it's going. Right, I think it's gonna even out as the season go on, but this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing what they let transpire today in this game. There's no way they should be in a 1 point game when they had this team beat. This team was dead just a quarter ago. But Wemby out there doing that thing though, he pulling up on AD and all that. He shooting jumpers in there.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure the Kevin Durant, another try to super team, just not gonna work. Bill's back is no good. Booker playing very well. Booker and Durant been balling, but
Booker that deal.
Huh?
Booker is the truth.
Oh yeah. Booker, I mean,
he top 5 offensive players in the league.
Definitely. But their health, man. Oh
yeah.
And see, my thing is like, I don't understand. Like, why did they get Bill? Like, I don't feel like they needed that dude. I feel like if you would have just added some more auxiliary pieces around Durant and Booker, I think they would have been fine. Like, I don't know. I mean, not that I dislike Bradley Beal as a player. I just don't know. Like, did they really need him? I don't know. I'm still. I don't know.
I think Durant's just trying to prove that he can make the LeBron model work in his favor, but it hasn't worked in his favor.
Well, I don't think he's trying to prove. I think fans are caught up in the greatness of Durant. He's 7 foot with the jumper, and he can do some things some guards can do. So they like, oh man, he should be one of the greatest players ever. He's a superstar. He should be able to put a team on his back. But Durant has always said, I'm a role player. I'm not a leader. I don't want to put a team on my back. This is out his mouth everywhere he goes. I just want to be part of the team. I just want to play my role. This is his team. This is not my team. At some point, you got to just take him at his word and let him be who he want to be. He want to be the best Scottie Pippen he can be. He's not in the MJ. He's not in the Steph. He's not capable of leading the team anywhere. So I don't put him up in some of the guys. Like, I got a lot of guys ranked above him because they are number 1 options and they are leaders. Even though he's more talented than most teams' number 1 option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't.
So that's why, with that situation, I think sometimes with player contracts, we know it can be political. Definitely once the player has earned a certain kind of cachet in the league. And Bradley Beal is a highly paid player, and his agent had it set up to where if Washington traded him, either he was going to stay in Washington or he was going to have to be traded to a team that he considered a contender. He had a no trade clause in his contract.
Right.
So Phoenix was the team that he okayed. There's a few teams out there asking to get his services, but Phoenix was the team that he wanted to go to. So that's how that ended up playing out with him going to Phoenix. And hell, when a player like Bradley Beal is available, Daryl Morey already told you it's an arms race. You get as many good players as you can. And that's how you play basketball in the league.
But you want to make sure they're healthy. And they got
to be healthy, and then the coach got to be the coach.
Right.
I mean, look at Westbrook. Westbrook coming off the bench. He ain't playing nearly the minutes he was playing. Now, when the season started, Westbrook was started. The
Mhm.
Clippers were playing well. They were one of the
That's right.
better playing teams. Okay, James Harden came in. They tried to start Westbrook, Harden, Kawhi, and Paul. They were losing every game. Tyronn Lue had to make a tough decision.
Right.
Westbrook only
Exactly.
playing 24 minutes a night. He get it 8, 6, and 6, and he helped the team win in that manner.
Yep, exactly. That go back to my point. That's why I feel like the Phoenix really need him. I mean, I know how it went down, but did they really need this dude? Did they really need him? I mean, to me, they gave Denver the hardest fight out of the playoffs last year. They played Denver the toughest.
They won
And I
2
felt like
games.
right, they won 2 games, and it was all those games were pretty close for the most part. I just feel like you just add a couple of pieces here and there. I feel like they were right there. Now, again, if you can get a player like Bradley Beal, you definitely want to entertain it. But again, going back to his injury history, going back to is he the right fit, for the team? Going back to, do we really want to tie this much money into this, player? Yes, he's a spectacular offensive player.
Right.
But at the same time, what is his track record on winning? What is his track record on affecting, the game to where his team can win? You know what I'm saying? Those are things I would have been looking at. Now going to what was the other play we were just talking about? Getting James Harden. No, I was totally against that move, and I was happy that Westbrook got off the Lakers. He went to the Clippers, and he was a much better fit. He was playing well. I was happy for that dude. And I feel like it was a bad move getting Harden. It was a terrible move because, like James, like to your point, Westbrook started to build some chemistry with the team. Things are starting to flow. I mean, you saw it last year in the playoffs. It was starting to happen, and then when coming into this season, then you get somebody like Harden, and it messes up. I think that was a horrible move. I don't understand that move at all.
Might should
I
sell. Sell tickets.
Well,
They gotta
sell tickets, but you gotta. Well, every player he got a contract. He wasn't gonna play in Philly, and so he got to play somewhere, right? Like because he got to sell tickets still. He's still James Harden,
right?
So they did him a solid. With the Phoenix had a lot of situations happen at the end of last season, which kind of led them to go into the Bradley Beal direction. When you talk about Chris Paul was up, you're not going to get him a raise to stay, so you got to let him go. You got to make that move. And then you had a situation where you were letting the coach go, and then you had to let Ayton go because Ayton was unhappy, so you had to make a move there. So they had a lot of pieces moving in the offseason, and to make sure that they didn't fall, below, everybody as far as talent standpoint, you make sure you get that Bradley Beal contract in your door, because you can always come trade deadline. You can see where I'm leaking at and where I can strengthen it, and you can always make a deal if you need to make a deal. But after losing all them pieces and having all them pieces move, I think Bradley Beal was like a security option. Definitely considering he wanted to go there too. I think it was a good security option for them to make sure that they had enough talent on the team to compete going forward.
That makes sense because Durant probably gonna miss some time too.
Right.
But he's been playing for most part. I guess he obviously 35, so
right. He getting up there.
More basket.
Trust me, he ain't gonna be LeBron. He's not gonna be averaging 28 in year 38, 39. So I think we on the this and next year might be it for KD.
Yeah, it could be.
As far as him being at this high level of a player.
And he probably gonna stay healthy.
Yeah. I think it's miraculous that he's played this well after that Achilles. I think it's miraculous that he's played this well.
That is.
The only other player I can somewhat compare it to is Dominique. Was still a somewhat effective. He was still never the same Dominique, but he was still somewhat effective for a short amount of time after that. But the fact that he's been this effective for this many years afterward, it's miraculous. It really is.
Modern medicine.
They got modern medicine and to go along with. He's 7 foot with the jump shot, so he's not really having to elevate. Like some of them shorter guys, even Kobe came back from the Achilles. He did very well, but he was such a highly skilled player that he could he ain't have to dunk on people no more, all the time. And Kevin Durant don't have to dunk on people. I mean, he could just really come down and pull up and get what he need to get, So for a guy like Dominique, back then with the medicine not as great as it was now, and the fact that he was dunking on people, I thought his was the most impressive I've seen just based on that. But now guys are coming back from Achilles in 1 year and playing great. Usually it takes 2 years to get their mental back though.
That's true. Well, we'll see how it unfolds. We got about to wrap up. We got Minnesota and Boston leading each conference, so we'll see how real Minnesota is. I mean, I like Anthony Edwards, man. He come with it. He come with it.
He's getting better.
Yeah. Did y'all see when Wembanyama dunked on Şengün last night?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Nah,
I need to send it to you. Yeah, it was pretty.
Yes, please.
It was pretty.
Please send that to me.
It's pretty impressive. Even though he's so long, so when he dunks, it just looks. You don't have to get so high off the ground.
Right. I just hope he ends up being better than Porzingis. If he can do that, and Porzingis not bad, he turned out to be a solid NBA player. Don't get me wrong, but he was a unicorn at one point.
Oh yeah,
he ain't no unicorn. He's just a zebra.
He's in the perfect place now. Is the what?
But if
third
I
option?
hope that Wembanyama can actually be what Porzingis was supposed to be.
What about Holmgren? How you see him?
Oh, Chet Holmgren is nice. I mean, right now, I think he's a little bit better than Wembanyama right now. But I like Chet. I like Chet. Chet gonna be solid. He know how to play basketball.
Yeah, they got some good stuff cooking up there.
Oh yeah, OKC playing. I mean,
Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's the question that I have. Like, is Minnesota and OKC gonna stay atop the Western Conference? Is this the new trend of what's happening, or are they gonna fall back to earth at some point and finish play in 7th, 8th, somewhere around there?
I think as low as they'll fall is 4th, 5th. Where they are right now? Well, Minnesota's
it's still
going.
early now.
It's still early. Remember last year the Kings? Everybody was like, it's early, and the Kings still finished 3rd.
Yeah, but they legit. They were
legit.
The Kings still are legit.
If I was to say between Minnesota and OKC, I'd probably get a slight edge to Minnesota because I feel like they're a little more battle tested a little bit and they've been in a real series. OKC's pretty young. I mean, Gilgeous-Alexander gonna get his, but
he's a baller.
Yeah, I mean, don't shoot many threes.
Jalen Williams, them boys play.
Yeah, the brown skin jet, the one who start, he good.
Yeah, he play.
Yeah, they got some but it makes you wonder if they have to move somebody. People feel like, I've heard people say maybe you would have to move Giddey to get somebody, but
I mean,
they got so many
Giddey
picks.
is a big part of what they what they doing. He's a big part of their success.
Yeah. And I guess he's out of trouble. I haven't heard no more about it, so hopefully
he ain't never get in trouble. And the reason why he didn't get in trouble, which I want the black people to understand this and the black players to understand this. The reason he didn't get in trouble is because everybody in his situation kept their mouth shut. They didn't want him to get in trouble. The girl, she ain't try to get rich off of him and say, she kept her mouth shut. The family of the girl, they know what's going on. They kept their mouth shut. They ain't giving out no information. Josh Giddey, he kept his mouth shut. I got nothing for y'all folks. Ain't nobody, they don't got no information to report on. They can investigate, but everybody is on board with him. When black players do similar type stuff, everybody trying to get $1. The homeboy, somebody, the girl around the street, I know what happened. Now that girl, her family, we can get a check. They want to get in on it. They want to sell the story to TMZ and this and this and this. Everybody in on the story. Now the investigation, all the information The NBA got all the information. Now they can go
Mhm.
ahead and do what they need to do. But in this situation, everybody is tight-lipped because they
Mhm.
don't want him to get in trouble. So that's the difference between why, people say, well, he's the white boy. They letting the white boy off the hook. Well, it's sort of that way, but not really. The reason why is because the white folks know how to keep their mouth shut. And they don't want they guy to get in trouble. We always looking for a check from somewhere. What can you give me? Let me tell you what I know. Let me tell you who to go talk to. That's why. So I don't applaud Josh Giddey. Like, this is the blueprint of how not to get in trouble when somebody, they know what you did. They know what he did.
Mhm.
Can't prove it.
Yeah. You gotta know the law. That's the trick. You know the law.
You gotta know how to keep your mouth shut.
Keep
People,
it-
the girl who he was fooling with, they family already got money. That's what you do. Messing with a girl who family already got money. That way they ain't trying to get in your pocket. You messing with Kiki, little Keisha off the block. They found out, I can get money. He a good guy. I know, but you can get money. Let me just go get the money. That's how they think. That's why.
That's true. That's a good point. Well, I appreciate you, James, man. We're gonna end it here. We're about to run out of time.
Right.
I need to be going, man. But I know you'll keep your eye on the league. I will as well. And we'll be seeing what comes forth. I kind of want to put together some like a 10-game report, like how everybody doing their last 10 games.
Right.
So you might hear from me. It'll be at an awkward time. It could be spur of the moment, but if you come on, we talk about it. Not as long, but just
Right.
10,
Just
a little
let me know, man.
10. Yeah, no doubt.
Right. I'm always down. If I'm available, man, I'm down.
Appreciate you. All right, man. Take it easy.
Man, hit me on Instagram and X at One Man Cave.
Okay, you're on there. Okay.
Number 1 Man Cave.
Okay. I'll find you. All right. Peace.
Yep.
And well, folks, that's another edition of the All Basketball Podcast. Giving our expectations for the rest of the NBA season. We got tournament talk, in-season tournament talk, the integrity of the game. We got some of everything this episode. Appreciate James, Frank, and Parrish for coming on to talk with me about the NBA and all that's going on and all that we expect. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. This is the All Basketball Podcast. And until next time, peace and be blessed in Jesus' name. And check me out on Spotify, All Basketball Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. Peace.